we're talking about a medium that can go opaque or transparent. So, I won't tell you right now that I thought that was my tube of white.
These are water-based?
They're acrylic, so they're water-based paints. Right now, I'm trying to purposely not do a landscape. Send me to do it, I want to. But I'm trying to purposely not do that.
We give you permission if you want to.
Desperate times call for desperate measures. So I'm doing this, the blade of my knife there is totally covering up what I've done. So these kind of chiseling marks is an effort to actually bring back a bit of uniformity to the piece. It's kind of just a squished up mess. Now with the texture here that I'm adding, I'm trying to choice. Bring some continuity of mark to the whole scene. And there you have it. My inner Gerhard Richter has been achieved. They've been forced by some of you, I know. Appreciate it. So yeah, let's get another one up here.
Self think if it was in the museum?
What's that?
What would your 5-year-old self think if you saw it in the museum?
Probably the same thing. I look at that and go, what on earth? The distance of time, maturity, growth, and understanding has helped me to appreciate it more than I have in the past. And so, my young and naive 5-year-old self would have written it off, but I was a child, and I looked at things as a child.
It looks like a landscape with mountains of purple and blue.
Well, that's it, I gotta throw it away now. Just throw it away.
Take that. Totally looks like a landscape.
So when you're composing this, are you following your pyramid of rules?
Sort of.
So isn't it less abstract than it is literal then?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, yes. That's the point I was actually trying to make earlier when talking about those abstractions as compared with these representational paintings. I love painting representationally. I love the challenge of doing so. I love the drawing skill that it demands of me. And even though I'm painting, I am drawing. Drawing is painting, painting is drawing, okay? But this causes me to pay greater attention to the principles and the elements of design, which are an important part of visual art skills, your overall set of visual art skills. This is one of the projects that I have my design students do. So. Now, if I were outside, my little piece of showmanship would be to take this and give it the spin test. And if it landed right side up, it was a good painting. And I can't do that here. So let's take this
Lands upside down, it's a better one.
and put it over here. The last act of putting in those chiseled marks helped tie it together. It gave it a continuity that it was lacking. And I hope you sensed that as they were coming together. Well, as you're working, even representationally, the kind of marks that you make help tell the story of your subject that you're trying to represent. The quality of those marks helps to give continuity to the piece. Were you about to say something?
Sorry, would you mind holding this up? So I can see that back there.
Which way?
No, it's upside down. It doesn't matter. It's upside down. Yeah.
Seems to work in any direction. That's the mark of a good composition.
It's the mark of a confused artist, too. Having to sign the dang thing. All right. All right, let's try this long one. I start out in landscape format. Sometimes they end up going into vertical format. So let's see what we can do with this. I'm going to sit down a little bit because my back's getting a little tired. This is Strathmore 400 series paper. I love this format.
Same weight,
What's that?
same weight.
Same weight, 140 pound, yes. Mhm. Is that centered pretty well in the picture plane? Okay,
Why do you wear that?
so that it will stay down. So that it will, eventually it will begin to lift and slightly curl as it dries. but in the meantime, it helps to hold it down. I don't recommend this to my drawing students. Draw on a wet sheet of paper like this.
But what if you were to wet it like that and then draw with the water soluble ink?
Yes.
Wouldn't that be cool? Or charcoal? Yeah.
What do you think, John?
The water soluble, and then it would disperse.
It would disperse and you'd have to manage that. And you'd have to plan on doing that.
But it might leave the depths in that whole line. I don't know, maybe not.
What my husband,
Isn't that what art is all about?
when you start, you
What
can
if-
get color, composition, or
What am I thinking?
yeah, are you thinking in terms of composition or layout and shape, or are you thinking in terms of color?
Wish I knew how to answer that. I'm in the moment. That's all I know to say.
The
I'm just
different parts of the pyramid.
in the moment. I did have the thought of maybe working out of black here.
What was the image you had in mind for this one?
What's that?
What was the image you had in mind for this one?
So it's well, it's totally abstract, so it's really hard to say. But it has to do with just a few verticals in opposition to all the horizontal elements that are about to go in. This is a fairly new board, so this paint will help seal it up a bit more, so that's a good thing that it's getting on the board. I didn't even touch this one over here. What do I have the two for? I'm not gonna use them. Did you find Gerhard Richter?
He's German. Now I know what to do with it.
these plastic tubes of paint are good and bad. They're great till you get down to the very end of the tube. Then it's just, oh my gosh, trying to squeeze the last of the paint out. It's impossible. Just wanna go to this.
What a beautiful landscape.
What's that? I didn't hear that.
Beautiful landscape.
What beautiful.
Extra credit.
Yeah, it's nice to have a good time, kiddo.
There's the happy note that
Bob Ross is currently spinning.
It does have a landscape feel to it, doesn't it? You can see it. I can't deny it. It's in me. It's in me. It just happens. I tried to deny my inner landscape and I couldn't. I was just cleaning off my tool, that's all I was doing. Ideas are flowing more with this second piece. And mentally kind of excited about the prospects, as still as guarantee success, but that quiet red. It's done. It's done. Thank you. So that's two. Actually, I only have planned. What time is
That's
it?
good.
Are we a little early?
Wait for us.
Could sing.
So, here's the question, you're gonna just let us go pick the ones we want, right?
For a fee.
For a fee?
For a fee.
Okay, would you just ask people here who would like to pick one for me, and then they can pay for it?
Oh, I see. No, I decided earlier that if anyone is interested in purchasing one of these abstracts, they are $100 a piece. Okay. So, and I guess if you buy one of the wet ones, the board goes with it. But, yeah. So, any questions about anything you witnessed or observed during this process here? Yes?
So when you say the drawing is the very foundation, did you draw this out in your own mind as you're staring at the white paper before you put anything down?
What I had in mind was a spread of dark black and dark blue, a spread of light blue, a touch of white, and then just a few marks going through it. In fact, I could.
No.
Some of that. Now, I spent some time helping Doug Fryer in the studio with two of his paintings that are going to be in the Salt Lake Temple when it opens. So I was a studio assistant a couple of years ago. Still working on these two glass of things. Still. Yeah. And anyway, but I saw some of his abstracts on the wall that he did in preparation for some of his smaller, looser paintings and studies. And Doug is one who seeks to strike that balance between abstraction and representation. Now, when he does his work for commissions for the church, he's pretty straight up. Hates it the whole way. But he's straight up illustrational. He doesn't like it plain, so I'm just shut up and get him. And he does a great job. But I helped him out with the surface prep of the 2 panels. And then I helped him out with the foundational drawing. And then kind of went from there. Took it from there to finish him up. But they're oils. They're going to be oils. But he started with, this is pretty thick. He started with thin washes like this. And then he started working with oil into that to build into the images that he'll have there.
How big are the finished pieces?
What's that?
How big are the finished pieces?
5 by 7 or 8 feet. It's a distance. But anyway, I came back to the studio and spent part of the weekend working on these. And I worked my way and it really frustrated him. I said, no, Tom, you do this. And he was trying to get me to go another way, and I'd try him, end up doing it my way. So, they are what they are. Any other questions? Yes.
How do you decide on colors? I mean, you were very thoughtful about the colors. You didn't just, well, maybe you just grabbed a tube of paint, but it seemed like you were thoughtful. Very thoughtful.
I was thoughtful about the color relationships. Of course, this has, I always end up with a cross between analogous and complementary color relationships. Predominantly, I think one could call this an analogous color relationship. But there are spots and hints of red-green contrast in there, even some violet in there, and so against the yellow. So you've got hints of complementary, but for the most part, it's a analogous piece. Do I see a hand pop? Yes.
So you get it wet on both sides, flatten it out, you work on it, and it starts to dry, and you said it starts to curl up a little bit. So what is a little bit? Is it pretty much straight, or is it flat?
Well, it's the flattest it's gonna, I mean, if you don't wet it on both sides, it curls pretty bad, but these here, this is just about the hardest curling one from that process.
So it's not real
Okay.
bad.
No, it's not too bad.
No.
So,
I was imagining you'd have to use dry mount or something to flatten it out when you were all done.
when it comes to getting them ready for framing and presentation in a frame, perhaps. Right now, I just have some mat board ready to mat them. And then we'll see how I'm gonna present them beyond that. Yes,
Do you have a favorite of the ones you have over on the table?
the most recent one. These are my 2 faves. Those are old has-beens. Not really. But at home, I do kind of sort them out, kind of ones I think are really working, ones that are not. But I decided to just bring the whole blasted dog and pony show and let people decide for themselves what they like or dislike. Any other questions?
Could you hold still for a second? I gotta put the artist with
Okay. I didn't do this. Okay, well, that's what I have to share, and that's it. I guess we're done a little early. I hope that's okay. But,
it is.
yeah, thank you.